But to go into a little bit of college football, man, top 5 college football quarterbacks going into the 2026 season. Gulley, I'm gonna let you start this one off. Who you got?
Yeah, man. So this is my quick top five. Just leading us off right away. Have to throw my boy Dante Moore on there, number one. I just pretty much just put him number one, honestly, because I think he's going to be the Heisman front runner coming into next year. Was probably going to be a top 3, 4 pick in his previous draft this year, honestly. So I think it's a lot that scouts want to see out of him. I think just having another year in that system, in that offense, I think he's really poised. I think he has a lot of talent, honestly. Just seeing him put it all together, one more year of maturity, I think he'll do him a lot well, honestly. So it's kind of hard to go against him at this point. So I have him as my number one going into next year. Number two, CJ Carr out of Notre Dame. I think he had an amazing freshman campaign last year. When I think of him, I just think of him in comp of Jared Goff, honestly. He reminds me of just a slightly more athletic Jared Goff, really timely thrower, has a lot of anticipatory skills. He honestly, I think he's a great leader. Being that young, being able to command the offense, for that prestige of a program like that, I think you got to tilt your hat to that. So I know he's high on a lot of scouts' boards. So it'll be cool to see how he continues to progress into year two. And that's pretty much another Heisman hopeful for me as well. My number three, and I think I'm going to be on an SEC run after this, but my number three, Trinidad Chambliss, out of Ole Miss. Like I said, man, he's a kid, man. He's hard not to like, man. He has an amazing story, a humble story. Came from a D2 Ferris State, led them to a national championship. And how ballsy is it of him to pretty much say, you know what, I'm going to leave D2, Division II football, and go to the SEC, man, and try to compete for a starting job, man. And to be thrown in the fire like that, to lead your team to the college football playoffs, man, I just think he's amazing. Probably would have been a first-round quarterback had he went out this year. But we know the courts pretty much overruled everything, gave him a year of eligibility back. So it'll be cool. I think he's coming back with a vengeance, especially since head coach left. So it'll be cool seeing him, man. He's probably my favorite on the list, but I have him at number three. Nah, I'll take that back. Let me take that lie back. He's not my favorite, but probably my second favorite. My favorite on the list, how could I forget? At number four, I got my boy John Mateer out of Oklahoma. A dual threat quarterback, plays a lot bigger than what he is. I know he had some ups and downs last season, but honestly, bro, he's just a gamer to me, honestly. If I can think of any quarterback that's probably comparable to him, to me, honestly, is probably, I can see a lot of Baker in him, honestly. Like I said, not the biggest, not the strongest, not the most athletic, but he always finds a way to make a play. Honestly, I think his team rallies behind him. And like I said, man, I know he had a lot of ups and downs, especially towards the end of the year, but prior to his injury, that he kind of dealt with pretty much the second half of the season, that first half, man, he was like first and second in the Heisman race. Like he was putting on a true clinic out there for Oklahoma, especially in league play, man. So I got full confidence that he'll go out and definitely do good this year and probably be a first round pick next year. But I think Oklahoma will make a lot of noise this year, mainly because of him. Um, and last but not least, at number five, this is more so on my projection for him. I think he's going to be great. Is Bryce Underwood? It's just kind of hard to deny just his physical traits, man. Um, has a cannon arm, processes things really well, athletic as all can be, great, amazing throwing motion. I just think he needs to be around a competent coach in a good system. We know all the things that went on with Michigan football last year, and unfortunately for him, it kind of derailed the team, man. So I'm looking forward to seeing him in his second year, being a sophomore, being at the helm of that offense, man, and making plays, man. So that's pretty much my top five right now.
That was cool. That was cool.
Bubba?
Come on now.
Um, my number one, Jaden Mayava, Big arm, athletic, over there with Lincoln Riley. We know what he do with quarterbacks. He can get little irate at times in the pocket. He can get sloppy at times. He's accurate though. 65% completion percentage. Once he fixed the forced throws and getting erratic in the pocket when the pocket gets shrinking on him, he's not a really good scrambler. I would like him to be a little bit better for his size. But I think he's my number one because I think he has the greatest upside out of this class that's coming out. Only because not only, but one of the main proponents to that is being under a Lincoln Riley. You know what I mean? We know what he do with quarterbacks and how he can transcend their game. Number two would be Trinidad Chambliss, 70% completion percentage, 500 pass attempts. He's just the only reason he's not my number one is because he's a little bit on the smaller side. 6'1", 200. That's a little bit tough when you look at somebody that's kind of like his comp, not his comp, but kind of like his comp, like a Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels 6'4", 215, and we see what the injuries do to him in the league. So I would want him to kind of add a little bit more size. But Trinidad is very athletic. He's accurate. His arm isn't that big, but with the right offensive mind, the right OC, right QB coach, the sky's the limit for that boy. Like, he can really ball. He can really play. Number three, Gunnar Stockton, Georgia. He's in the SEC as a starter. He went 12-2 last year, making it to the quarterfinals. He lost to Ole Miss 39-34. Played 6 ranked teams in the AP Top 25. Lost against Bama by 3 early on in the season. Came back and beat them later on in the season. In the SEC championship, again, he's 70% completion percentage. And this is a Georgia team that's not even known for having great or top talent at the receiver position. They are talented, but when we think of receivers all the time, we can only name a handful in the past decade that really came from there. So for him to do that with the team that he had, I think him going to the next level is going to be great. If he get the right pieces around him, he's going to be one of those quarterbacks that got a big arm and can win a few playoff games for you early on in his career. Number 4, I'm going to go Kevin Jennings. Again, he a little bit on the smaller side, small school, really ain't playing a lot of great competition, but when he do, he tends to play to that level or above his level of competition. Athletic, his arm could be a bit stronger for me. So at the next level, that may be a problem. He's 6 foot, really small. I don't really like small quarterbacks, not in this league now. He's efficient, but he's consistent with his efficiency. So he's around that 65, 64 range. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. For his size, that's pretty good. He beat a scary Miami team last year in overtime. And that goes to show you that like he can play with the best of them and produce for you. I don't see him as a first rounder, though. I see him second, maybe third at the latest, which that's not bad. So I think he got the potential to go to a good team and sit behind a good quarterback and then probably learn, develop, and then get out there year 2, 3, 4. I don't think he's a starter right away in the league. And then my number 5 is Drew Mestamaker. Played at UNT. He followed his head coach, Eric Morris, to Oklahoma State. As a freshman, he led FBS in passing yards, tied for second in touchdowns, only 9 interceptions, 70% completion percentage, 463 pass attempts, completed 319 of those. That's great. Some games he was throwing 85, 90% completion percentage. Very big arm, 6'5", went 7-1 in the conference, 12-2 record. He's going to be a beast at the next level, bro. I really see him transforming Oklahoma State and kind of making a name for them. I also see him, this may be a hot one, though. I could see him going first round. I could see him really going first round, bro. With the arm he got, his size, 6'4", 230, prototype. And he can really move well in the pocket. And he don't get erratic. He don't force throws. You could kind of say that's a tribute to the level of competition he was playing, but all you can do is go out there and ball and look good. So that'll be my top 5.
Yeah, that ain't bad. Man, my top 5, my number 1, I got Trinidad Chambliss out of Ole Miss. He went 11-2 last year. He lost to Miami in the Sugar Bowl. And then his other game he lost was Georgia during the regular season. But man, I like Trinidad a lot. He had over 4,500 total yards last year, and he only had 3 interceptions. 66% completion percentage. Only thing with him is I think his returning supporting cast won't be as strong last year as it will be going into this year. Only person he kind of got coming back that he kind of leaned on a lot was his running back, Keywan Lacey, a 1,500-yard rusher. But man, I like Trinidad. He's mobile. I got a good arm. He got the experience because he played D2. He played D2 for 3 years before he came over to Ole Miss, and then they just granted him a 5th-year eligibility. So, I mean, I think damn near out of anybody in the quarterback draft this year, I think he'll probably turn the most heads. The Trinidad is my number 1. My number 2 is Dante Moore out of Oregon. He went 13-2 last season. The 2 games he lost were both to Indiana, who were the champions. 3,500 yards, 30 touchdowns, 10 picks, 70% completion percentage. Good pocket passer. He doesn't run too much, but he can be mobile. He got a good arm. Like I said, I think the downfall was just he couldn't get over the hump with Indiana. Like I said, you lost to him 10-15 during the regular season, but then in the playoffs, they spanked y'all ass by 30, 32 points or something like that. But I like Dante Moore, just for the simple fact that I think he's going to go high because it was a kind of like a debate between him and Fernando Mendoza, who was going to be number 1. And I think as long as he just kind of, even if he has a plateau season where he doesn't get better than he was last year, I still think he's the first-round pick. My number 3 is CJ Carr out of Notre Dame. As a freshman, he was 10-2, 2,700 passing yards, 24 touchdowns, 6 picks. Notre Dame was kind of finding themselves after they let go of what was his name? They head coach Freeman. I think they let him go the year that they made it to the Natty. So I think he still has a lot to learn, but like I said, man, I like him a lot. Big guy, good arm, makes smart throws, good decision maker. Like I said, not too mobile, but he can run, kind of like almost like a Ben Roethlisberger, if you wanna give a comparison. But I think he's more athletic and like I said, he kind of got that arm. Like we know Big Ben wasn't a mobile guy, but Big Ben found a way to get out the pocket and make plays when he had to on 3rd down and whenever he came into sack trouble and stuff like that. But CJ Carr is my number 3. My number 4 is Julian Sand. He's only a sophomore this year, but just as far as what he did for Ohio State, taking them as far as he took them, being a freshman last year, 3,600 passing yards, 32 touchdowns, 8 picks, 77% completion rate also. I think he'll be a good college quarterback. I think him being 6 foot, damn near 205 pounds or something like that, I think that just won't translate to the NFL so much, which a lot of Ohio State quarterbacks don't translate, as we've seen with what was his name? Barrett. And you had Braxton Miller, and who ended up eventually switching to receiver his senior year. You got CJ Stroud, Justin Fields. Like I said, they just is besides CJ Stroud's
Cardale
Jones, who got drafted to the Bills. Like besides CJ Stroud's rookie year, Ohio State quarterbacks just don't pan out in the league. And I think he's kind of going to be the same way if he gets drafted, just him being undersized. I just think that's his only flaw, but I think he's a good college quarterback. I think he's a good college quarterback. Like I said, they went, like I said, I think they also went like 11-2 or 12-2 or some shit like that. But they only 2 games. They lost their last 2 games of the season. You lost to Indiana in the Big Ten championship, and then you turn around and you lost to Miami in like the Cotton Bowl or something like that. But you lost your last 2 games you lost were to the teams that played in the Natty. So you beat one of those teams, y'all probably just completely switch spots in the Natty. We never know. But Julian Sand is my number 4. Like I say, he still has another year after this one before he can declare. So we'll see how that looks for him. But Julian Sand is my number 4. My number 5 is Josh Hoover out of TCU. He went 9-4 last year, 3,500 passing yards, 29 touchdowns. Now he does have a problem where he's one of those quarterbacks, like he's an air raid quarterback. He likes to gunsling all over the field, and he kind of puts himself into trouble a lot, and he has turnover issues. But I think that's just with TCU being TCU. trying to fight to keep his team in games a lot last year. I think that's kind of how he put the ball in harm's way, just trying to win the game for his team. And I think that's how he ended up being kind of on the downside of having a turnover problem. But he transferred to Indiana, and we seen what Indiana did with Fernando Mendoza. Fernando Mendoza came from Cal, went to Indiana. Signetti told him, you come here, we'll make you the best quarterback that you can be, and I can guarantee you'll be a top draft pick. And lo and behold, he was a first pick out of Indiana after leaving Cal. So I do like Josh Hoover. I think they got him around better coaches and a better system all around. So I got Josh Hoover at my number 5. And I'm going to put my honorable mention in there, Drew Messamaker out of North Texas, who transferred to Oklahoma State. He followed his coach. But like you said, 6'4", 215, the prototype type of guy. He took North Texas to a 12-2 record last year, passed for damn near 4,500 passing yards, 34 touchdowns, and only 9 picks. He scored 45 points 9 times last year. I think they were like one of the highest scoring teams in the FBS last year. And I just like him all around as a quarterback. His coach, they kind of have him as like the quarterback guru. I want to say he coached Pat Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, and it might have been like one other quarterback that he coached, but they kind of look at that coach as almost like a quarterback guru. I do think he'll make Oklahoma State a dark horse in the Big 12. Only other competition you got over there that's real competition is TCU and Baylor. And Baylor brought in Lagway, so they'll probably suck this year. And TCU lost Josh Hoover, who went to Indiana. That was my number 5 pick. But I do think he'll make Oklahoma State a dark horse. So y'all be on the lookout for him.
Ray, he Cam Ward. He had Cam Ward on his wing before, and John Mateer.
Oh, Cam Ward and John Mateer. My bad, Dan. Yeah, but just those two quarterbacks
and Pat Mahomes.
Okay. I knew it was either Pat Mahomes or Baker Mayfield or somebody like that. So, Oklahoma State coach had Cam Ward, John Mateer, and Pat Mahomes. You look at how all of those guys turn out. You got 2 first-round picks, and then you got John Mateer, who was a Heisman candidate before, like Gulley said, before all of this injuries last year. Like, I do think he has good upside, but I think he's one of those guys, like, he tries to win the game, and like it's so much so much of the game is on him. He ends up turning the ball over, and then after, I think he ended up like breaking his finger or like having like some type of hand injury. I think that affected the second half of his season, as Gulley said. But those are my top 5, man. Like I said, number 1, Trinidad. Number 2, Dante Moore. Number 3, CJ Carr. Number 4, Julian Sand. Number 5, Josh Hoover. And my honorable mention was Drew Messamaker. But those are our top 5 college football quarterbacks going into the 2026 season.